I wonder if you got 1.5 to chase last time. Hope everyone had a good weekend. For Toolbox this morning, we got some birthdays. We got Dan Barber turning 46 on Wednesday this week. So happy birthday, Dan. Give him a happy birthday wish on Wednesday. We got two anniversaries for 3 years. Jim and Tom Bell, they're not here, but congrats to them on 3 years in the business. And we got Mick Glenn 2 years on Saturday as well. So congrats, guys. Also on Saturday, just gone, it's been 4 years since we've had trucks rolling out of the depot as well. Another milestone. We've got some positive recognition this week as well. We've got a big thank you to Hugh on the handcrafting Evans Memorial picture frame from the depot. Hugh's not here, but I think we'll watch the video. Thank you. Looks great, mate. And we've got someone who brought this up as well. So crews were working near Julia's home on a hot day, and Julia's gone out, made the effort, bring the boys out some drinks and wine spots, helping through the heat. So thank you, Julia. Update on next week's work. I'm sorry I didn't go through it all in depth. I'll have a quick read after this if you guys want to check it all out. So we've got some guys going to theory still last week. And then some snippets prep, I see. 2 load switches this week. And we can have a look on the rest after. That's alright, sorry guys. Switching on the previous toolbox summary, which we don't have one, do we?
Yeah, just going really well at the moment, so let's not get complacent. Make sure you're following your feed plans and grease properly, they're not always correct. And make sure on site we're on the ball first thing in the morning, ready to go. That's it.
Thanks guys. There's also no switching alerts either, so it's been a good week for the whole business. We got some DS near misses and hazards. So the first one reported some property damage. So the remote control plug has broken off of the remote for the press. I'm not sure which one that is. If anyone has any further information of which press that was broken. Person who's reported it's not here, so suggestions, the person's put in a redesign of the device to make sure it won't happen again. Not happy with the design, I think it's all quality, so I don't know if anyone's using 50-ton press much. I reckon it's on the controller lead. Next one we've got is reported for EWP fiberglass cover. So there was some night works, guys were working in the dark. Spotter was there, but Spotter was looking after the person in the bucket, working around the live power lines. Looks like they've crushed part of the fiberglass cover. Looks like it's down the bottom. Yeah, so unfortunately Spotter was looking after it on the back of the truck. It's definitely important to make sure you clean off the back of the truck. Spend a bit of time. I know we're not all perfect, but before you head up or walk around, we don't want anything like that. It's something much more expensive than fiberglass cover as well. So. Any other suggestions? Tie downs, boxes to put things in. You guys normally put the fiberglass covers up out the way, best as you can.
Is this something set?
Yeah, cover on the end of it as well, so I haven't seen it done. Yeah, it's important when working in the dark to have a good look around. If you can't see, stop, take time, torch, lights, light up the area. We don't, especially if you're doing bolts, we don't want to make any more bolts. Yeah. Let's get the lights up in the air. Alright, next thing we've got some general stuff. So Mark's brought this up, so for the people who have recently done the rigging course, once you've got your tickets, please make sure you bring in a copy for Mark. So get it scanned and put it on his desk, both sides of the cards, please. And we've got something here for Easter long weekends. I know it's 2 months away still, but there is an opportunity for 11 days off if you put in 3 days annual leave with the Easter, Good Friday, Easter Monday, RDO, and then you've got Anzac Day the following Monday. So we'll put this up so you can see the days if anyone's interested. I reckon it should show up in your calendar when you put your leave in anyway. Right, so there's a good opportunity for a nice 11-day break. Safety alerts, so there's none for the depot, but we've brought one up here that's sort of a good reminder, not just for at work, but for at home as well, seeing as though we don't really use A-frame ladders much here. There has been 3 serious injuries in SA in the last 6 weeks. One was a construction worker who had been killed and 2 others seriously injured. So just highlight the importance of working on A-frame ladders. In 2021, 61% of the serious injuries associated with falls below 2 metres were off A-frame ladders, and most of them were because they were being used incorrectly or inappropriately. Right? No, we don't use them much here, but I'm using them a fair bit at home, and definitely don't wear a hard hat half the time with thongs, not being safe. So it's a good reminder. It's quite dangerous. Have somebody out there, especially if you're working by yourself, if you fall, no one's there. All right. A little lad likes to hang around down the bottom, so he's a bit of yelling at the missus if I fall. And we did have someone actually in the depot, property maintenance worker, about 3 years ago, fall off an A-frame ladder. It was only on the second run the ladder broke, and he's smashed his whole face on the ladder, split it all open on his nose. It's a good photo of him here. It's quite like that, and scared the crap out of us all. So,
and as well, most of these ladder incidents, these blokes were working by themselves. You know, I'm not a big fan of ladders. I know you got to use them. I've fallen off a couple in my time. So usually it happens when they're probably too high up on the ladder and they're just overreaching, twist the ladder and down they go. I know we don't use ladders here much. You know, a bit of maintenance stuff around the depot, and maybe we may use them when there's a cubicle job, but other than that we don't use them. So because we don't use them that much, be all the more careful when you do use them, and just test your ladder out, mate. This guy that fell off the ladder in the kitchen, we sort of worked out that the rubber foot on the ladder was busted before it fell. That was one of the reasons why he fell. And as far as smashing it, as he went down, the ladder swung around and hit him in the face. So he didn't land on face down, but he did a bit of damage. Looked like he broke his nose, but he just had a big nose, I think. But yeah, just be careful, boys.
The last thing I've got is its LV glove changeover time. They're going to be set up in the front floor again. To bring gloves in and change them over. Try to do that by the end of the week if you can, please. Especially if you're going away, it'd be good to do it this morning. Alright, you know, Bob's had something to bring up.
Yeah, a few things. Mask wearing, I'm not going to take you through a PowerPoint about mask wearing, but it's come out just in the last week how that's the best way we've got of reducing risk of catching COVID and spreading it around, and putting families at imposition for isolating. The surgical masks or the N95 are recommended. They provide better coverage than the cloth ones. And the surgical ones, they say loop and tuck. So I've tried it, and my ears were really sore, but to get the best coverage you get, it's just a matter of looping the notch on the side as tight as you can to there, do the other side, put it on, and then you just tuck that bit in. It makes it a bit shorter, but it gives you the best protection, like it's in the high 90% if you've both got that. close contact. All right. So we've got plenty of these. We've got you don't do it with the N95s, and that gives you the best coverage. A couple other things. I've been around all year, as you know, working from home. There's a leaders forum last week, and a couple of things that come out of the 3.5 hours that we sat through that were of real interest to me. Currently there's 12 generation storage projects mooted for South Australia in the next 10 years. They're worth $12 billion. So that's a space that Enervon will play in. And another thing that stuck out to me was that by 2030, with the predicted uptake of EV vehicles, that there'll be twice as much current going through the power lines as what there is now. So when we thought solar was coming in, and you think, is there going to be a need for power lines? Solar and storage, everyone will be independent. It's actually going the opposite way. And then in rural areas, it's not if, it's when farm machinery goes to electric as well, they haven't quite worked out how they're going to pump all that power down sewer lines, but there's going to be a huge load required out in some of those areas. So those two things just stuck out to me. I don't know if many of you seen in the bulletin last week, we've got the ops supervisor role advertised now, so the replacement for Evan. We thought it was appropriate that we leave that for quite a while. We thought that was respectful, that's why it hasn't been advertised. And our apprentice interviews, we've got one more today, and then that'll conclude the interviews, and we should be advising candidates by the end of this week whether they're successful or not. So we interviewed 12, Cam?
I think I've dropped down to
11,
11.
yeah. And we had 158 people apply. Half of those weren't completed, so I don't know if that's just people having to tick a box so they get their Centrelink. And we sat through nearly 40 lots of video interviews, and there's four videos for each person. So 160 videos Cam and I watched. Some of them were 10 seconds and some of them were up to 2 minutes. But a good lot of applicants. I just want to touch on the stuff that's going on. Coley's great words when he was here was, remember when all this is over, he's talking about the enterprise agreement, we'll all end up having to work together. We'll still be working together. So just some things I'm hearing around the tracks and whatever. We've got COVID, we've got the enterprise agreement. It's summer and it's hot weather and people tend to get a bit crankier then anyway, especially when it's humid. Just have a think about how you're talking to people and if it's how you'd like to be spoken to yourself. Let's get our communication up. We're going to be here for a long time, so let's make a bit of an effort, I think, and that's as much for the guys that are planning to work to communicate early starts. That's been pointed out, and rightly so. And then on from that, how we talk to each other. Anyone got any comments on that? Fair point or not? Yep. So everyone's getting worn out. I haven't spoken to any one person that wouldn't want COVID gone, that wouldn't want the enterprise agreement sorted out. So it's just wearing us out. So let's just have a think about how we're treating each other. And also, just like to, it's probably come up in the toolbox already, but the switching averted. It's really good that we had 5 of those last year, I think. Switching incident averted. It's a really good thing. It shows that we're being proactive with our thinking, with switching. So let's keep that going this year. And near miss hazard reporting, it's actually really easy on your phone. Encourage that at all. If there's something that's going on, have the guts to report it, and we'll look into it. That's easy. We've got Mark here. No other group in Saffron or Enderman our size has got a safety advisor assigned directly to us. We're still going to pay that money. We reckon Mark's $250,000 a year salary is still good money, still good value for our business. Oh, sorry, 200. I've got a bit high. And so it makes it easy. And so I just encourage you, near miss hazards, anything like that, report it so we can sort that out. That's all I had. Have a good week, everyone.
Just got a quick one, mainly for the guys who watched spending last week, so I put everyone on a bum steer. With mask wearing inside an office area is required all the time. The only time it's not required is if you're in your office area on your own. So if someone comes in to talk to you, the person coming in plus the person in that office needs to shut their mask on. So I did put a few, well, most of half the people here did a bum steer last week, so I apologise about that.
Who's had to isolate here? Not a lot of fun, is it? But that's how we get around it. If you wear a mask at work, you won't have to isolate. If you're indoors or in a vehicle with someone else and you're wearing a mask, you won't have to isolate all your family. It's pretty easy.
Thanks everyone. Enjoy the week.